Hello everyone, my name is Terry and I'm here for terrythetutor.com, and today we are going over how to use the point-slope form of an equation to get a slope-intercept form of an equation. Let's just dive right into some examples. Our first question is, the instructions read, write the equation of a line with the slope m equals 4 and a y-intercept of 0, 5 in slope-intercept form. Okay, well let's look over here and let's look at slope-intercept form. I guess I should have iterated. In each of these, m equals slope. Okay. And in this one, m equals slope, but b, well, slope, but b is the y-intercept. Okay. Y and x are just there. They're just the y and x variables. They're not any values. So let's take a look at this again. Let's go ahead and write y equals mx plus b above so we don't forget it. Or write an equation of a line in slope-intercept form. Well, this is slope-intercept form. Okay. Oops. And what we're going to be doing is taking the slope first. So m equals 4. So let's say y equals, what does my m equal? 4. X we just write just like we just wrote the y. And whatever b is, well, b, the y-intercept is 5. So we're going to say plus 5. And we're done. That's a line written in slope-intercept form with the slope of 4 and a y-intercept of 0, 5. Good job, everybody. Write an equation for a line passing through the points 8, 3 and 6, 1 in slope-intercept form. Okay, this one's a little bit more challenging because we have to find our slope. We're not given our slope. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to solve for slope. Slope, we know that slope is m equals slope, but what is slope? Slope is rise over run, which equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Now I'm going to take my points and label them. Let's write them down. 8, 3 and 6, 1. This is going to be my x1, y1. This is going to be my x2, y2. So using the formula, I'm going to have y2 is 1. So I've got 1 minus y1 is 3 over x2 is 6 minus x1 is 8. So I've got 1 minus 3 is negative 2. 6 minus 8 is negative 2. So I've got my slope is equal to 2 over 2, which is equal to 1. So that's my slope. All of that work just to find slope. But now they want me to write an equation for a line. All I've got is the slope. Well, thankfully we've got point-slope form. And what it requires is kind of in the name. It requires a point and it requires a slope. It looks like we've got our slope and we've got 2 points to choose from. So let's go ahead and write down point-slope form. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And we are going to go ahead and plug in for y1, x1, and m. Y and x don't get plugged in for. That's important to remember. It's an important distinction. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and choose, oh, I don't know. Let's choose this point. So I've got y, remember I just write it down, minus, what is y1? Well, y1 is going to be 1, so minus 1. equals m, well, my m is 1, so 1 times x minus, what is my x1? x1 is 6. Now, I'm noticing, and some of you might be confused by this, that I wrote x1 up here and y1 up here, but I'm using my x2 and y2 for my y1 and x1 variables. It doesn't matter which one I pick, as long as I pick the same points, as long as I pick points from the same set. For example, I can't pick, let's use red, I can't pick this y and this x. That would be wrong. But I can pick both of these or both of these. Okay. Now, I've got an equation for a line satisfying these conditions, But now they want us to have it in slope-intercept form. So we're not quite there yet. Let's go ahead and look at slope-intercept form again. That is y equals mx plus b. So when we're done, we want it to look like this. We want y to be alone. So let's use our distributive property. 1 times x is x, and 1 times negative 6 is negative 6. So I'm left with y minus 1 equals x minus 6. Now let's go ahead and add 1 to both sides to solve for y. So I get y is equal to x minus 5. Now that's our answer in slope-intercept form. Good job. Now we have one more. Write the equation for the line passing through the points 9, 7, and 0, 7 in standard form. Okay, so this is where standard form gets introduced. We've got some rules for standard form. You can never have a fraction, ever. Coefficient of x is never negative. There is to be no common factor in a, b, and c. Here's what standard form will look like. ax plus by equals c. So we will never have a fraction in a, b, or c. The coefficient of x, meaning a, will never be negative, b negative, and there's to be no common factor, meaning they can't all have 2 or 3 go into them. Alright, let's go ahead and start with the information we already have. The points. Let's find our slope. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Alright, so this is going to be my x1, y1, x2, y2. I'm going to say 7 minus 7 over 0 minus 9. And that gives me 0 over negative 9, which equals 0. Because 0 divided by anything is 0. So my slope is 0. Now let's go ahead and use, we've got a slope and we've got 2 points. So let's use point slope form. That makes the most sense, based on what we've already got. So I'm going to use, why don't we go ahead and say y2, no, it's y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So I'm going to go ahead and use these points now. No, I'm lying. Let's use these points. This is way easier. So I've got y minus 7 equals, what is my m? 0. So equals 0 times x minus 0. Okay, so I've got 0 using my distributive property. 0 times x, well that's 0. 0 times 0 is 0. So this entire side is just 0. So I've got y minus 7 equals 0. And now I've got to go ahead and put this into standard form. Standard form. Well, the standard form is ax plus by equals c. So c has no letter. It doesn't have a y or an x. So 7 is our c. Let's get that on the other side of the equal sign. So we've got y equals, add 7, we get 7. Now the only thing left to do is to write in our ax. Well, if there's no x value, what is x being multiplied by? X is being multiplied by 0. So we've got 0x plus 1y equals 7. And we're done. That's in standard form. There's no fractions, this x is not negative, and they don't have a common factor between them. If you have any questions, feel free to go to my website, terrythetutor.com, and ask them at the you click on the Ask button in order to ask a question. My name is Terry the Tutor, and I'll calc you later. Oops.